This program contains dramatizations of real people and events. Some names have been changed. This program is for mature audiences only. It contains graphic images which may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. An elderly couple brutally murdered in New York. No one understands
Anything look disturbed?
until a psychic experiences it for herself.
I could feel her fear and see through her eyes that all of a sudden I was being killed.
In Ohio, when a young mother disappears, a psychic knows what happened to her and that the victim felt it coming.
She went through an emotional violation. She knew she was going to die at his hands.
When clues are scarce and answers elusive, investigators sometimes turn to a psychic witness. Colony, New York, a suburb just outside Albany. On the evening of May 15th, 1986, Ron and Martha Spencer bring another day to a close. The 72-year-old couple has been happily married for 40 years. They have 2 grown children and are enjoying retirement together. Ron, a retired state worker and World War II veteran, relaxes in the living room. It's been a nice, quiet evening. Martha calls her daughter to finalize plans for an upcoming family dinner.
I'd like to have your recipe.
But then, the unexpected.
What are you doing? Mom, what's going on? Mom, what's going on? Mom? Mom!
She calls police.
Still at bar.
Often vanish for reasons that nobody knows about.
And then her son.
Hello?
James, something happened to Grandma.
Something's wrong. I think I heard a shot.
Calm down.
Go to your grandparents' house.
Yeah. I'll be right there.
Colony officers approach cautiously, unsure what to expect. The lock on the back door is broken.
Police! Anybody in the house?
Inside, an unimaginable scene.
120. Send me a detective unit.
Ron and Martha Spencer are both dead from gunshot wounds.
What we got in here? What have you got, officer?
Homicide investigator Lieutenant Raymond Krolak tries to make sense of what happened.
No?
Well, taking a look at the crime scene, you would think there's only 2 ways it can go. It's a murder-suicide, or it's a double murder. Moving the male victim, not finding any gun underneath him, and nothing underneath the female victim, now you have to assume it's a double homicide.
It looks like an execution.
The female victim was shot at close range. Same thing with the male victim. The only 2 things we found were 2 empty .25 caliber cartridges.
But why kill 2 senior citizens?
First impression was that somebody tried to burglarize the house, was surprised by the victims being home. Had no choice but to do what they did, or else turn around and run. They chose not to. There's no other reason to shoot them other than maybe the victims knew who they were.
It appears the killer fled without taking anything.
Nothing was disturbed, nothing was moved around. Downstairs is a safe. The safe was not opened up. We couldn't find much of anything missing other than possibly a coin collection.
Investigators hope someone spotted the killer.
We went out and interviewed all the neighbors. We also interviewed a lot of relatives and family members. No one saw or heard anything. Nothing out of the ordinary. Very frustrating.
She called
The
for
Spencer's daughter is in shock.
just, you know, fun dinner for.
She can't imagine why someone would want to hurt her parents.
Told me that, there was some trouble going on.
They were kind people and never bothered anybody.
Yeah,
How was the conversation? What you talking about?
we were just talking about this.
Then her son, James Mariani, makes a statement that puzzles investigators.
Hey, aren't those 25 caliber shells?
One of my detectives had walked outside with a plastic bag with 2 empty shell casings. There's no way anybody could tell what the caliber of that bullets were at that distance. The grandson was not upset, he was not emotionally distraught. Very, very calm. At that point, he becomes a suspect.
His actions only get more suspicious.
Lieutenant Krolak, James Mariani.
The grandson calls the
Yeah.
next day demanding the will, not just asking for it, demanding the will. We have him respond to the station.
Come on in and have a seat. What can I do for you?
Well, I was coming to see what my grandfather had on the will.
We tell him there is a
You're not
will
in
and
the
he's not in it.
What do you mean? You gotta be kidding. There's something in there.
We ask him some more questions, why he's concerned about this, and he says his grandfather promised him some money. Well, he wasn't getting any money.
So, James, where were you the night your grandfather was murdered?
I was at my house.
Off and vanished for reasons that nobody knows about, and he come back.
James, something happened to Grandma.
You guys know that.
The grandson was very calm and cool and collected during the interview. We spent a little bit of time with him going over his alibi. Nothing seemed to disturb him.
Mom called and
Krolak has a feeling there's more to his story.
Would you be willing to take a polygraph?
sure.
After repeated questioning, the polygraph examiner declares Mariani is being truthful when he claims he did not shoot his grandparents. Nothing from the crime scene implicates Mariani. Officers keep digging, running background checks on him and his known associates. They learn that James Mariani and his friends, Keith Snare and Robert Skinner, have long criminal histories, including many burglaries.
They've done them all together. The MO of the burglaries was they would always burglarize their friends. They knew when their friends would be home, knew when their friends would be out, and that's the way they did their crimes. That kind of fit the crime scene at the grandfather's and grandmother's house.
Krolak believes the murder began as a burglary.
It appeared that they thought no one would be home, burglarized the place. Things went bad. We narrowed in on 2 associates of the grandson, plus the grandson.
Robert Skinner. I'm a police officer with...
All 3 were interviewed.
I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
All 3 had what we thought was valid alibis. Nothing we could link them to the crime scene other than that they knew the family.
Robert Skinner tells investigators that on the night of the murders, he was bowling with his girlfriend and her friends. Keith Snare says on that night, he was also with friends who can confirm. Both stories seem to check out.
At this point of the investigation, none of the leads were bringing us anywhere. Lots and lots of people we talked to, lots of associates of these three people, were getting absolutely nowhere. The investigation came to a standstill.
The case grows cold. Years pass. Lieutenant Krolak wonders if it will ever be solved. But what he doesn't know is that a psychic is about to join him.
I could feel her fear, her pain, and see through her eyes what she was seeing.
And it's terrifying.
Police? Anybody in the house?
2 years after the brutal double murder of Ron and Martha Spencer,
I think it's burglary.
the case remains unsolved. But Colony, New York Police Lieutenant Raymond Krolak has not given up.
What can I do for you?
About 2 years after the homicide, the victim's son and daughter came to the station to talk to me.
We'd really like you to give her a shot.
They had a news article
Well,
on a psychic and wanted to know if I was interested in pursuing this, see if she could be of any value.
The psychic's name is Noreen Renier.
I've never used a psychic before. I had no idea how credible they were. My only visions of a psychic were fortune tellers, who I had didn't even want to think about using any of them.
Though skeptical, Lieutenant Krolak honors the family's wishes.
The investigation was at a standstill. We had nothing to lose but to try that, and everything to gain.
The article about Noreen cites several police agencies she has worked with in the past.
I contacted one of them to find out how credible she is. He was a commander of the Bronx Homicide Division. He wrote a book on practical homicide investigations. In his book, there was a chapter on psychics. He had used Noreen Renier before and found her to be very credible. I respected what he did and decided, okay, let's give it a try.
Krolak calls Noreen at her home outside Charlottesville, Virginia.
Noreen Renier.
this is Lieutenant Ray Krolak with the
I expect them to be skeptic to some extent. All police should have a certain amount of skepticism. But by the time I'm finished working on a case, they shouldn't be that skeptical at all. They know I'm real. They know I can do what I claim I can do.
Noreen agrees to work on the case. She only wants to be told the victims' first names, nothing more.
If you get information, then your logical mind can come in. If you have no information, then your intuitive mind has, or the psychic mind has to kick into gear. I told Detective Krolak that I needed something off the bodies, something that they were wearing when they were killed.
Krolak sends Ron's belt and Martha's eyeglasses.
The energy from the items often helped me see more clearer the impressions of who did it, of what happened at that time.
Noreen uses psychometry to access her visions.
Psychometry is touching an object and getting impressions from the object. I can become the victim, see what the victim saw, and then sometimes I can just be Noreen and watch everything that's happening.
Yes, I have the glasses and the belt.
Well, let's go ahead and start the interview then.
I'm gonna put you on speakerphone and put the recorder on.
Noreen begins with Martha.
The detective asked me what she was doing just before she was killed, and I told him I felt like she was on the phone. I could hear a female voice.
It's a relative. A relative is...
Martha was speaking with her daughter just before the murder.
I became her, and I could feel her fear and see through her eyes what she was seeing.
Someone broke in the door.
Put the phone down! Put the phone down!
She was surprised because she was talking on the phone. She showed recognition immediately. She knew the man. Then she saw the gun, and she became terrified, and that's when she cried out for her husband, and she was shot. And then fell to the floor.
I'm feeling her pain, burning sensation.
It's pretty chilling to hear the last moments of the victim, because Noreen becomes the victim.
Do you have the belt, Noreen?
Noreen leaves Martha and becomes Ron.
Take your time, there's no hurry.
When I touched it, I could feel him sitting down or reading a paper. And then I remember his wife screaming his name. I could feel him leaping up, grabbing something, and going down the hall.
What are you doing here? Why?
And the man shot him in the face.
I just can't do it anymore.
It's difficult for Noreen to continue.
It's very painful. It takes a tremendous amount of energy from me. I can last maybe an hour and a half at a time, and that's about it, because it's so draining. So they decided that it was the end of the session, but they wanted to make another appointment.
Lieutenant Krolak feels they will make more progress if the next session is done in person. He makes plans to visit Noreen soon at her home. Krolak is greatly impressed by her visions.
She described the female victim being on the phone with another female. She described the female victim being shot in the head. She described where the male victim was sitting before he was shot. That the male victim heard a noise, came out to where the female was, and was shot there. She described the male victim being shot in the face. All accurate. I didn't expect her to be that accurate. So it was a little bit, it got me all excited, got me interested in saying, hey, maybe there is something to this psychics.
Noreen's claim that the victims knew their killer confirms Krolak's suspicions that James Mariani, Robert Skinner, and Keith Snare are involved. But the final revelation is still to come. In New York State, after a gruesome double homicide case goes cold, frustrated investigators turn to psychic Noreen Renier for help. She accurately envisioned the crime during a phone reading and said the victims recognized the killer. Now, detectives travel to Noreen's Virginia home for another session, in person. They need her to identify the killer.
Take a deep breath, relax.
Once again, Noreen experiences the murders of Ron and Martha Spencer.
The detectives were pushing me for more information about the killer. And I remember knowing that a family member had invited him to dinner. So I knew that he had eaten there. I feel like he's in his late 20s. I felt like he was about 5'11". He had talked to the husband about doing some work at the place.
Police know that suspect Robert Skinner once attended a Spencer family dinner and later helped Ron retile the kitchen.
I want to go look at the car.
Can you step outside and look at the tag?
They push Noreen for the killer's license plate.
I'm behind the car. I'm looking at the license tag.
And Lieutenant Raymond Krolak gets more than he bargained for.
When we got back to the hotel room and played the tape back, the interesting part is, like in the middle of the license plate, a voice comes on the tape saying, no.
First, there's some initials. I don't know if it's the N-Y or...
Brand new tape recorder, brand new microphone, doors and windows shut, no other voices in the room, but yet that comes on there.
Y or...
That scared me. I don't know what it was, but it was there.
I've got some photographs.
Noreen makes one final attempt to identify the killer.
We had brought down 10 photographs, 3 of which were the suspects that we thought were suspects. We gave the photographs to Noreen to see if she can get any impressions from them at all. I put the photographs on a table face down, didn't want to see the faces. Went through the photographs, touching them, moving them around.
These are the 3 faces.
Picked
where
out
the
3
energy is
photographs.
strongest for me.
Turned them over. It was Robert Skinner, it was Keith Snare, and it was the grandson, James Mariani. It was the 3 suspects that we had. I have no idea how she did this. There was no names on them. She never saw the pictures beforehand. I was totally impressed.
It was very easy. Either I felt energy or not. It just took a few seconds to pick out the 3 photographs. This one.
Noreen specifically identifies Robert Skinner as the actual gunman.
During this homicide, I only saw one, but I could sense there was others involved in the crime.
She then gives Lieutenant Krolak a crucial piece of information.
We were pretty much winding up our session with Noreen, and we were getting ready to leave when she had made the comment that something is wrong with the killer's alibi. There's something not right about it, and we should check on it.
These are the 3
I knew that we're on the right track. We had to do some more work. We had to continue working on these 3 people.
Authorities review the early days of the investigation and realize a surprising oversight regarding Skinner's alibi.
He said he was at a bowling alley with this girl bowling. This girl was never interviewed. When she was interviewed, it was found that she was at a bowling alley, but with all her girlfriends, and he was never there. That made him much more of a suspect.
Authorities convene a grand jury to get everyone's statements on record. During this process, they discover the witness they need.
I'm Lieutenant Krolak.
Investigators talk to a prison inmate who has intimate knowledge of the crime.
I know exactly who killed Mr. and Mrs. Spencer. Grandparents has got.
The informant was asked to go along on this burglary with the other suspects.
He says James Mariani, Robert Skinner, and Keith Snare planned to burglarize the Spencers.
Whoa.
But then, Skinner pulled out a gun in case anything went wrong.
He turned it down. I didn't want to go because there was a gun involved. He wanted nothing to do with that, and refused to go. And he testified in the grand jury and at the trial. It's a crucial piece of testimony.
In September 1992, a jury finds James Mariani, Robert Skinner, and Keith Snare guilty on multiple counts of second-degree murder and first-degree burglary. They receive sentences ranging from 40 years to life. The murders of Ron and Martha Spencer might have remained unsolved if not for the help of psychic Noreen Renier. Lieutenant Raymond Krolak began this case a skeptic.
Our sessions with Noreen opened up my eyes and made a believer out of me. Everything she told us and everything we verified, why not use a psychic? What's wrong with it? I would probably tell a skeptic, don't say you don't believe until you've tried it and see if it works for you. Keep an open mind.
Colony police and a gifted psychic closed a case many believed unsolvable. In Ohio, police team up with another psychic to solve a crime that seems unthinkable. Belpré, Ohio, a small historic town of 7,000 on the Ohio River. It's a place built for families. Highway Patrol Officer Jack McCrady and his wife Jennifer, a registered nurse, make Belpré their home with their 2 young boys. Jennifer's parents, Janet and Tom Barrett, also live in town, and they all get together as much as possible.
They were here fairly often, but it's usually like for a meal, and then he'd have to go to work because he worked like 3 to midnight, so he'd leave, and lots of times she'd stay or come back over with the kids.
Thank you for having me over.
They live quiet, simple lives. Until September 19, 1996. That morning, a call comes into Belpré Police Dispatch. It's Jack McCready calling to report Jennifer missing.
She didn't show up, no.
He says most of her clothes and her SUV are gone, according to dispatcher Moni Tanner.
Her rings were laying on the counter. She hadn't showed up for work, and he needed to file a missing persons report. I dispatched an officer of the residence to take the basic report.
Jack believes Jennifer ran off with another man, so he probably doesn't need to file a report after all.
Because do you believe there's a chance?
But following procedure, the officer takes down all the information for detectives to follow up on.
But I think that's what I'm gonna let a detective.
That afternoon, at the Barrett's Veterinary Clinic, Janet and Tom work what they think is a normal day. It's anything but normal.
Jack came in the office about 3 o'clock, and he said, "She's gone." Just like that.
Where's it gone?
He said,
Jennifer left.
"I can't find her. She took a lot of money and her clothes and left." We knew that they didn't have a lot of money, and she would never have gone. And she left the 2 boys. So we knew right then that something was up.
Janet spoke to Jennifer the night before.
Every night, they won't call me to tell me good night. And that night, I talked to her at, it was about 9 o'clock. That was the last I talked to her.
The Barretts do not believe Jennifer just ran off.
We had posters made up, and we called all the airlines and anybody that we thought could possibly know anything about her disappearance.
But no one's seen or heard from Jennifer. Real fear sets in.
Because we were sure that there was foul play. And it's just one of those things that you don't know what to do next.
It will take the combined work of family, friends, police, and a psychic to find the truth. In Ohio, when Jennifer McCready vanishes, her husband Jack believes she ran off with another man. Others aren't so sure.
No one believed that she would just up and leave her children. She was too good of a mother just to disappear.
Ira Walker is the chief of Belpré Police.
We have to determine, was there domestic fights, or was there problems in the family, or was there things going on that may have caused Jennifer to leave on her own, or maybe leave under mysterious circumstances.
Started looking around.
Highway Patrolman Jack McCrady comes to the station to speak with a detective.
Call the police.
He admits the marriage was rocky and says he's sure Jennifer is gone for good.
Well, I worked late.
His certainty surprises Detective Sergeant Dave Garvey.
If she did leave for somebody else, sooner or later she'd want to come back for maybe half of the house or half of the savings, or pick up the kids or to visit the kids. So he was saying to me, she's not coming back, and the boys were his. And I thought that was odd.
Also, Jack's story seems rehearsed.
I worked late that night.
When he told me what happened, it was just A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right on down the line. When I tried to get Jackie to go back to the middle of it, he always had to go back to another point. Commonly, if somebody's making up something and they have practiced it over and over again, it is kind of hard for them to go to the middle. Jack had trouble doing that.
But it's hard to believe a fellow cop would harm his wife, according to Washington County Detective Lieutenant Jeffrey Sievers.
We all knew Jackie. A lot of our detectives were friends with the family. In fact, a lot of them attended his wedding.
Though there's no proof, Tom and Janet Barrett suspect Jack did something to Jennifer, but he's a cop, and he's got the kids.
Jack would come over for dinner and he'd play with the kids, and we just didn't know where to turn. We couldn't say anything to him because we didn't know what he might do to the boys, or us, really.
If they stay friendly, it might help Garvey uncover the truth.
If flags came up in Jackie's life that he was being looked at, it is going to cause Jackie to isolate himself from Tom and Jan. So I just had to keep telling Tom over and over again, don't get mad at him, don't yell at him, don't tell him that you know something happened. Try to keep him in the loop.
As word spreads, potential witnesses come forward. A family friend saw the McCrady's SUV on the morning Jennifer allegedly disappeared.
And in his mind, Jennifer was driving that vehicle. And he just thought that was real odd because she always drove kind of slow. But on this time, she was fast, she never waved, and she just took off.
Then, 2 days after Jack filed the missing persons report, police find Jennifer's SUV in a local park. They called Jack to let them in.
The interior of the vehicle gave us no leads as to what had happened. There was nothing there that said that she left. There was nothing there that said she was alive. There was nothing there that said she was dead.
Since there's no evidence, police let Jack drive it back home. He's got an explanation for why it was parked there.
He tried to tell us, well, she drove down there to meet somebody and took stuff with her, and that's what happened. But we never believed that for a minute. We knew that just wasn't the case.
Within a week, Jack files for divorce, citing abandonment. The days tick by with no word from Jennifer and no clue to her fate. Then police dispatcher Moni Tanner recalls a psychic she met once in Pittsburgh named Georgia Rudolph.
Hello. Well, I thought it would be interesting to see if it would work. I figured I would try it. I wasn't scared to try it.
Hey, Moni.
She informed me that they had a missing persons report on a lady by the name of Jennifer.
That's all Georgia needs to hear. She already knows the rest.
I felt ill. And it's one of the only times in my whole entire life I have felt ill after working with a case, because the negativity, the evilness, and the terror that Jennifer McCready went through the last half hour of her life made me sick. Listen to me, honey. The reason you can't find Jennifer is because Jennifer's not missing.
Jennifer McCready goes missing from her Belpré, Ohio home. Police suspect her husband, Jack, a highway patrolman, harmed her, but have no proof. As a last-ditch effort, Belpré police dispatcher Moni Tanner calls psychic Georgia Rudolph.
When I first talked to Moni, the first thing I told her is, the reason you can't find this lady is because she's not missing, she's dead. I can tell if a person's passed immediately by the vibrational pattern of the situation, because the physical vibration is different than the spiritual vibration. And if I have a live person, then they have a physical vibration. If it's a past person, they have a spiritual vibration.
Okay, shallow grave.
And she told me that Jennifer definitely had been shot. We were gonna find her in a shallow grave off of a main road, wrapped in something white and pink.
Moni shares the information with Detective Sergeant Dave Garvey.
And Moni thought that it would really help me a lot if I would call Georgia, that she probably had more to tell me.
I can't go to the grand
I guess I'm just from the old world. I'm going to do it the way that I'm trained to do it.
Yes, just call her.
I had never thought about calling the psychic, not in this case or in any other case. And after Moni left, and I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I figured there's no harm done in calling Georgia.
And I said she was murdered. And I said shot once in the back of the head. Then he said to me,
about the suspect?
do you know who killed her? And I said to him, the man you are looking for, his physique would remind you of a lumberjack. Very brawny, very stocky.
Georgia related that it might mean that the person that caused her death might have the name of Jack.
I said, this man makes his living behind the wheel of a vehicle. And he said, like a truck driver? And I said, no. And he said, like a salesperson? And I said, no.
It's scarier than that.
And I said to Sergeant Gravy, I said, are you sure you want to know? He said, yeah. And I said, like a cop? And he said, bingo.
George's visions mirror Garvey's suspicions.
George, I'm going to put you on a speakerphone so the chief can hear this. Is that all right? All right, thank you. All right, Georgia, go ahead. What did you have?
He and Chief Ira Walker put her to the test, asking where the body is buried. And Georgia, 165 miles from Belpré, Ohio, tells them where.
What you need to do is you need to get on the main road going outside of your town. And he said that would be State Route 7. And I said, you want to take it south. And you're going to find a town. And the name of it is Torch. He said Torch, Ohio.
And she gave us a series of 3 numbers. And the numbers were 298, 982, 829. She said, you have to mix the numbers up. I can't give you the so-called exact road number, but it has something to do with her death.
There was no problem trying to locate the area. And it turned out that the number was the right number.
South of Belpré, near the rural town of Torch, is a road numbered 298.
When you see those numbers, you turn down that road and you go back about a quarter of a mile and you're gonna find a road and it'll go up and it'll bend. And you go back there and you will find the body of Jennifer McCready.
Georgia had given us information that she would be found dressed in some kind of pink and rolled up in a blue blanket.
Thanks.
The connection to Jennifer leaves Georgia drained.
I don't think I've ever experienced the sensation that I felt with the McCrady case when I touched with Jennifer because of the violation that child went through before she died. She went through an emotional violation of knowing her husband was going to kill her. She knew she was going to die at his hands.
Walker and Garvey are still skeptical. However,
my personal thing about psychics is I don't believe in them. It's like any other witness. You follow out maybe what they've had to say. It's a lead, so you go after that lead.
I don't think I'd be doing my job to the families or the victims if I didn't check every single lead. And if a psychic gives me a lead, I will follow it up.
Yet before police can free up officers to search, news of the case reaches Georgia's friend, Kathy Wyndham, who lives in Belpré.
Hi, Georgia.
When Kathy calls, Georgia tells her about her vision.
Paper here, just wondering if you've heard about this missing woman.
And she says, I'm gonna go find that road. And I said, you stay off that road. I said, you don't want to be on that road, trust me.
But Kathy heads out anyway, following George's directions, south from Belpré towards Torch, turning on Road 298, up a gravel road that bends. As she's about to make her last turn, she sees him. Highway Patrolman Jack McCrady.
When my friend called me back and told me that she had come in contact with Jack McCrady out on the country road, I was just appalled. I was scared to death for her. I was also excited because I knew that now they'd go find her, because my friend knew exactly where the road was.
Kathy rushes to Belpré PD to report what she'd seen.
In Ohio, the Highway Patrol does not have jurisdiction on private roads. So a trooper's car being on this road coming down would be out of the ordinary.
I'm gonna get on the phone.
Detective Sergeant Garvey and Detective Lieutenant Jeffrey Sievers need to check out the spot. But they have to make sure McCrady won't return for another visit.
Give me the supervisor at the Marietta Post.
They call McCrady's supervisor and ask for a favor.
Yeah, I can hold it.
The post commander made it possible to keep Jackie McCready out of the area, kept him busy working in another location.
Garvey, Walker, and Sievers head to the area Georgia envisioned and Kathy discovered.
We noticed what you can describe as fresh diggings. And after going down through the dirt for just a little while, we found a blue zippered nylon cloth.
What do you think?
I think we found Jennifer McCready.
We removed the bag from the gravesite, unzipped it, and inside it was a white female wearing pink and white pajamas, and she had a plastic bag wrapped around her head. We took the plastic bag off of her head and found that she had been shot behind the ear. And at that point, we discovered it was the body of Jennifer McCready.
At least now, the Barretts know.
We suspected it after 10 days that that was going to be the outcome. We was just sure that that was going to be what would happen. And we was glad that they found her.
It was shocking because we knew that we were investigating a friend in law enforcement.
Come on in.
I had detectives that were friends of both Jackie and Jennifer. I knew it was going to be very tough.
They've found Jennifer. Now they need the evidence to put her killer away. But their suspect knows all about evidence. Thanks in part to the astonishing vision of psychic Georgia Rudolph, the body of Jennifer McCready is discovered in the middle of nowhere.
The area would have been unnoticed, probably for quite some time. Maybe we would have never found it.
But the work is only half done. Investigators suspect Jennifer's husband, Highway Patrolman Jack McCrady, killed her. Now they need evidence to prove it. Police get a search warrant for the McCrady house while the suspect is still on duty. The inside of the house is spotless.
We never did find within a home what I would call the crime scene. We never found an area that we could stand back and say, this is where Jennifer was shot. We used every kind of process I could think of to find any traces of blood within the home, and we just could not do that.
A full trash can provides the reason.
We found several empty jugs of bleach. And in law enforcement, you know, bleach destroys blood. It's good for cleaning blood and DNA.
Authorities realize that as a cop, McCrady knows how to cover his criminal tracks. Or so he thinks. They spot a false ceiling in the garage. and inside, a purse containing Jennifer's driver's license, which Jack said she took when she left. They also discover a weapon, a .357 Magnum.
The bore of the barrel had been completely drilled out to where there was no lands or grooves in it.
We also found metal shavings in a vacuum cleaner bag in the residence.
McCrady would know that a gun so altered could not be matched to the fatal bullet. And in the shed, muddy boots and tools. Not unusual, except in this case.
We noticed that the color of the dirt was not that of what looked like to be around Jackie's home. So chances are maybe he wasn't out working in the flower beds. We had dirt samples from the gravesite, and we had the dirt samples compared, and they were the same type of dirt.
Less than 2 weeks after he reported her missing, Jack McCrady is arrested for the murder of his wife, Jennifer.
It's over, Jack. We found the body.
And we just went ahead and paused there. We was waiting for Jackie to ask where, and he never did, because I think he knew where we found her. He never asked us how she was killed or why she was killed. I can assume it's because he already knew.
Hey, you want to talk to Grandma?
Although there's a sense of sadness that a person has lost their life, there's a sense of calm and thankfulness that you were able to give people who have been looking for someone they loved the answer and some peace. Because I don't think there would be anything worse in the whole entire world than to have someone you loved just disappear and never know what happened to them. That's why I do what I do.
We never had any reason to believe in psychics, and I just thought it was somebody that's made up things and people would accept it if they came up with the right answer. But I'm convinced that she told them where to find Jenny's body.
Janet and Tom Barrett hope some lesson can come from their daughter's terrible murder.
If you're having trouble in your marriage, you better do something about it. Don't think you're gonna change that person, because you're not gonna change him. And it just doesn't happen.
On August 15, 1997, a jury finds that Jack McCrady, sworn to uphold the law, murdered his wife. While his young children slept, he took their mother to a remote part of the county and tried to cover it all up. Convicted of murder, Jack McCrady is sentenced to life in prison. 2 families, shattered by killers in their midst. An elderly couple, dead because of a relative's greed. A young mother, murdered by her husband for no reason at all. Unthinkable crimes committed by those who should have loved them most. Solved by dedicated cops and 2 gifted psychics.